This might be your last chance to escape what is coming. Something very serious and profound has been revealed, and I cannot allow you to ignore it. The Virgin Mary's most recent message was delivered with a clear purpose: to prepare the chosen ones for dark times ahead. If you're watching this video, it's because you've been chosen to receive this message right now. But pay close attention. Not everyone will understand it. Not everyone is ready. Only those with strong spirits and open hearts will prevail. You might be wondering, why is it so important for me to watch this until the end? It's simple. If you don't hear everything that's about to be revealed, you'll be ignoring a crucial warning, and the consequences could be devastating. This isn't just about curiosity, it's about protection, faith, and being prepared for something greater that is already unfolding as we speak. You need to know this before it's too late. Don't think this is just another random religious message. What's about to be revealed here isn't for everyone. It's for the few who still believe, for those who know the world is changing and feel deep in their souls that something monumental is about to happen. If you're here, it's because this message is meant for you. And let me be clear, not watching until the end could cost you far more than you imagine. This is an urgent call, not just advice. The Virgin Mary has sent us a warning, and ignoring it could be the greatest mistake of your life. Are you prepared to hear what's coming? Are you ready to learn how to protect yourself? Right now you need to make a decision. Watch until the end and get ready, or risk being completely unprepared. The heart of this revelation carries implications that go beyond borders. The shadow of what's to come will spread everywhere, and only those who listen carefully to every word will have a chance to face what lies ahead. I know this might sound intense, but when the Virgin Mary appeared with this latest message, she was clear. Difficult times are coming. The fate of many is at stake, and only those who are spiritually prepared will have the strength to face the challenges ahead. I want to help you understand the significance of this warning, but for that, you need to pay close attention until the end of this video. Every word matters. Every detail could mean the difference between being protected or vulnerable. Imagine a silent war, political pressures, spiritual trials. These aren't predictions. They are realities already happening, and you need to be ready. Don't ignore what will be said. Your spiritual and emotional protection depends on it. Now stop. Focus. If you've made it this far, it's not a coincidence. This is a pivotal moment. Click the subscribe button to ensure you receive more of these revelations before it's too late. Leave the names of those you want to protect in the comments for the powerful prayers we will share. Don't leave now, don't get distracted. What's coming could change everything. This is your last chance. Get ready because the final message from the Virgin Mary starts now. Before we continue, I want to ask you something special, something that has become a tradition on our channel. Share in the comments where you're watching from. It's incredible for us to see how far these messages reach and how they connect people worldwide. Tell us the name of your city, your country, or that special place where you're joining us from. Now that you understand how urgent and important this revelation is, let's dive even deeper. What you're about to hear is not an ordinary message. It is a direct and extraordinary revelation. We're talking about the final message from the Virgin Mary, sent to alert those who are spiritually ready. If you're here, it's because something greater brought you to this moment. This is no coincidence. Not everyone is prepared to hear this. The world is full of distractions, and only those who manage to silence their minds and focus on what truly matters will understand. This message was sent specifically for you, someone seeking answers, protection, and guidance. You feel in your heart that something is changing, that things are no longer as they were. The signs are everywhere. Mary warned us that times of great tribulation are coming. Are you prepared to face them? The Virgin Mary, in her infinite wisdom and compassion, has always been a powerful guide for her children. She appears in times of crisis to warn, protect, and bring hope. Her final message came at a critical moment, and you've been chosen to receive it now, because time is short. Those who listen and act will be protected. Those who ignore it may face severe consequences. This video is just the beginning of this journey. Today, you're being invited to prepare your spirit, strengthen your faith, and join others who are also ready to listen. What's coming cannot be faced alone. Faith and unity are our greatest weapons against the forces that will try to destabilize us. If you've made it this far, it means your soul is searching for something deeper. You're looking for answers, and those answers will be given, but only to those who are ready to receive them with humility and devotion. The Virgin Mary knows what is coming and wants her children to be protected, prepared to face any challenge that arises. But remember, this message isn't about fear, it's about hope, protection, and preparation. The Virgin Mary offers us the opportunity to stay one step ahead, to understand what's coming, and to prepare ourselves spiritually. This is the moment to strengthen your faith, seek a connection with the divine, and not ignore the signs. As you listen to every word of this revelation, I want you to remember why you are here. This is not a coincidence. Believing in something greater, in a spiritual force that guides and protects us, can make all the difference in the most difficult moments. Pay attention. The words that follow are profound and powerful. They must not be forgotten or ignored, because for those who listen and believe, there will be hope and salvation. For those who disregard them, the trials will be much harder to endure. Keep your mind open, your heart receptive, and your spirit focused. What you are about to hear may change the course of your life and offer you a new perspective for the challenging days ahead. The revelation continues. Imagine a quiet night in a forgotten corner of Mexico, where the warm desert wind blew softly, carrying with it the fragrance of night-blooming flowers. Inside a small church, the flickering lights created an atmosphere of deep devotion. Suddenly, the atmosphere was interrupted by an indescribable transformation. From the altar, a soft, almost ethereal light began to radiate, a light unlike anything anyone there had ever seen. This celestial glow filled the tiny temple, and everyone felt that something supernatural was about to happen. It was a light that brought an infinite sense of peace, yet carried a mystery so profound that it seemed to touch the soul of each person present. The faithful, unable to fully comprehend what they were witnessing, were mesmerized. Their gazes, once fixed on their prayers, were now drawn to the altar where this powerful light emanated. Time seemed to stand still. Everyone felt the spiritual weight of that moment. What was happening was not ordinary. It was a miracle, and everyone knew it. As the light filled the space, a figure began to take shape. The Virgin Mary appeared, gently floating above the altar, surrounded by an aura of serenity and power. Her eyes shone with a mixture of compassion and sorrow, as though she carried the weight of all humanity in her heart. Her presence was so powerful that the faithful, filled with a reverence they had never experienced before, fell to their knees. They knew they were in the presence of the divine, but it wasn't just her vision that struck them. There was something more, something beyond the physical. First, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to this channel, as I will be sharing a prophetic message for your heart every day. Don't forget to leave your prayer request in the comments below and let me know who you've been praying for recently, your family, friends, for work, or healing. Share your prayer request below, and along with it, tell me which country you're from so we can see where our message is reaching. Amen. The Virgin Mary warns us of the importance of preparing ourselves through powerful prayers to achieve protection and salvation in our lives. So download my digital book now, The Powerful Prayer of the Virgin Mary. This resource contains a variety of prayers for all of life's occasions. Don't waste time. Click the link available in the pinned comment and download it immediately. Supplies are limited, so it's crucial to act now to ensure access to the powerful prayer of the Virgin Mary. Be sure to grab your copy from the pinned comment. It's so important to heed the warnings of our Virgin Mary and prepare for the great tribulation that is to come. The air vibrated with an unfamiliar energy, something that touched the hearts and minds of everyone present. It was a moment of transcendence where the divine and the earthly met. It felt as if the veil separating the spiritual world from the physical had been momentarily lifted, and everyone could feel the presence of something far greater. With a gentle gesture, the Holy Mother raised her hand. That simple movement brought a wave of peace that swept through the small church. When she began to speak, her voice was sweet, yet carried a depth that pierced the soul. Everyone knew her words were not ordinary. They carried a spiritual power that could not be ignored. In that instant, the faithful realized they were being blessed with a revelation. Something of great importance was about to be said, something that demanded their full attention. The walls of the church seemed to vibrate with the energy of the moment. Every word, every glance, every movement of the Virgin Mary carried a profound message. What she was about to reveal would forever change the lives of all who were there. Can you imagine the intensity of that moment? The presence of the Virgin Mary filled the space with a mixture of serenity and solemnity. There was no room for doubt or hesitation. Everyone knew they were experiencing something that few would ever have the chance to witness. They were receiving a direct message from heaven. And now you too are being invited to witness this revelation. What was spoken that night is about to be shared with you, word for word. But before we continue, I ask one thing of you. Stay until the end, because every detail matters. Every word carries a deep meaning, and you cannot afford to miss it. Keep listening and prepare yourself. What you're about to hear is not a story to be forgotten. It's a call that will touch your spirit just as it touched the hearts of the faithful in that small church in Mexico. The revelation that is about to unfold has the power to transform not only your life, but also the way you perceive the world. The Virgin Mary appeared that night for a reason, and her message is not just for those who were there, it is for you. The presence of the Virgin Mary in that small church was almost indescribable. Her figure floated above the altar, bathed in a light so intense it seemed to come from another realm. Her eyes radiated a perfect blend of compassion and sorrow. As if she carried the burden of countless souls, the faithful could hardly breathe. The air was heavy with a spiritual energy they had never felt before. Somehow, they all knew this was a divine moment. Mary was there, present, just as she had been during so many moments of great crisis in human history. This time, her message was different. It was a warning, a call to prepare for something that was about to happen, something that could shake the foundations, not just of that small community, but of entire nations. The silence was absolute. Murmured prayers and whispers of devotion were quickly replaced by an overwhelming sense of reverence. The faithful, kneeling, barely dared to lift their eyes. Mary's voice, gentle yet charged with an almost tangible spiritual strength, filled the space. It wasn't an ordinary voice. It was one that went beyond hearing, touching the heart and soul of each person present. The impact of her words would be felt long after that night. Mary began to speak, her voice resonating in the silence, each word carrying the weight of a profound truth. My dear children, challenging times are upon us. What is coming will test your faith in ways you could never imagine. Her words hung in the air, each one with a clarity that pierced deeply into the souls of those present. Everyone knew that the Virgin Mary wasn't there to offer superficial comfort. She had come to prepare, to warn about what was to come. She paused, and the church, already immersed in an atmosphere of reverence, grew even more silent. Every person felt the invisible weight of her words, as though they were being etched directly onto their hearts. They knew something monumental was about to unfold, and ignoring the gravity of the situation was impossible. "The world as you know it is about to change," Mary continued, her voice firm and clear. "The events that are coming will shake nations, and many will be tested." Her words carried a clarity that left no room for doubt. The times ahead would be filled with great tribulations, and those who were not spiritually prepared might crumble under the weight of these adversities. What Mary said next made every heart in the room freeze for a moment. "Mexico will be tested." Her words echoed through the church, filling the space with a profound sense of fear and reverence. "The forces moving in the shadows cannot be restrained by human hands," she warned. "But those who keep their faith, those who seek refuge in God and in me, will be protected." The silence that followed was almost suffocating. Everyone understood that Mexico was facing a trial, and the storm Mary described was not just literal, but also spiritual, something that would change lives forever. Mary warned that the coming months would bring great challenges. Many would not understand what was happening. These would be times when everyone's faith would be pushed to its limits, and only those who turned to prayer and spirituality would endure what was coming. The faithful were swept up in a whirlwind of emotions. While they felt fear at Mary's warnings, they also felt relief, knowing there was still time to prepare. They understood that the Virgin Mary's message was not merely a warning, but an opportunity, a chance to strengthen their spirits and prepare for the difficult times ahead. Mary was clear. This is the moment to reconnect with the divine, to seek refuge in prayer, and to prepare yourselves spiritually. From that moment on, each person's choices would make all the difference. Those who ignored the call might not survive the trials to come. As she spoke, the eyes of the faithful filled with tears. They didn't know all the details of what was to happen, but they understood that the Virgin Mary, in her infinite wisdom, was there to guide them. Her message was clear: prepare yourselves. The atmosphere in that small church in Mexico was charged with an indescribable emotion. The faithful, still kneeling, felt the weight of every word Mary spoke as she stood above the altar, a celestial presence. The peace her appearance had brought soon gave way to a warning that no one was ready to hear. The silence, already intense, became almost unbearable. Every person felt deep in their hearts that what was about to be revealed would change their lives forever. "Challenging times are at our doorsteps," Mary repeated. Her voice, gentle but filled with a weight that pierced the air, reached deep into the hearts of those present like a spiritual alarm. "What is coming will not be easy," she continued. "These will be trials that will test your faith and your unity like never before. The foundations of this nation will be shaken in ways many cannot even imagine." Her words sparked palpable anxiety among the faithful. Some began to glance at one another, trying to process the meaning of what Mary was saying. "The storms are approaching," she went on, "and they will not only be physical." Her tone shifted slightly, taking on an even greater seriousness. She was not speaking solely of natural disasters or visible conflicts. The storms she spoke of would also be spiritual, unseen by the eyes, but deeply felt in the soul. The atmosphere grew even more solemn. Many wore expressions of fear and reverence. Others, with their eyes closed, prayed silently, as if Mary's words had already awakened an urgent need for spiritual reconnection within them. "The forces moving in the world right now cannot be faced with earthly actions alone," Mary continued. "What is coming requires a deep connection with God. You will endure, but first you must prepare yourselves." Mary paused, as if to give each person present time to process the meaning of what was being revealed. What she was sharing was nothing less than a spiritual war, something that would affect both the physical and the immaterial worlds. "You will be tested," Mary said, "not only by your actions, but by your ability to maintain unshakable faith in the midst of darkness." Mary warned that many would seek answers in worldly things, in quick solutions. However, only those who trusted in the power of prayer and spirituality would withstand the pressures that lay ahead. Then came her gravest warning: Mexico will face moments of great suffering, but it will not be alone. A powerful nation will rise against it, not with visible weapons, but with invisible and silent forces. The impact of her words was immediate. Each syllable fell like a stone upon the hearts of those present. A great nation, driven by hidden interests and powers, would act against Mexico in ways many would not perceive until it was too late. "You must prepare yourselves," Mary warned with a gravity that few had ever felt before. The air in the small church seemed to grow colder, and the flickering candles, which once filled the space with serenity, now reflected the gravity of the moment. "Prayer will be your greatest weapon," Mary said. "Only through prayer and communion with the divine will you find peace amidst the storms to come." The Mexico they knew was about to face an immense trial. Mary had issued a direct call to those ready to listen: prepare yourselves spiritually. What lay ahead would not be just a test of physical strength or social resilience. It would be a true test of faith. Mary's words filled the atmosphere with a sense of urgency. Hearts that had been filled with hope now carried the weight of concern and uncertainty. What would become of this nation? What was coming? With her eyes filled with both sorrow and wisdom, Mary concluded this part of her message with a clear warning. Only those who seek spiritual refuge will be able to endure what is coming. But the question remained: could they do it? Could they strengthen their souls, their prayers, and their communities in time to face the forces silently moving against them? The eyes of the faithful were fixed on Mary, who continued to radiate that blend of serenity and sorrow. She knew many felt the weight of her words as an overwhelming burden on their shoulders. That's why, with a voice that brought comfort to their hearts, she assured them, "You are not alone. I will be with you every step of the way." Despite these words of reassurance, the seriousness of her message could not be ignored. The atmosphere, once peaceful and filled with prayer, was now heavy with unanswered questions. What powerful nation could it be? What were these silent forces approaching? Each person wrestled with the hidden meaning behind the warning, but Mary knew she couldn't reveal everything at once. The journey of faith also requires mystery, trust, and surrender. She continued, "You don't need to understand every detail now, but you must trust." Her words pierced their hearts like a steadfast promise, a pillar of faith amidst the chaos ahead. Trust in the power of prayer, in the strength of your souls. And above all, trust in me. I will be by your side, even in the darkest hours, when fear seems to take over. The air seemed to grow colder, as though even the walls of the small church understood the gravity of the warning. The candles flickered with the intensity of the moment, and the eyes of the faithful reflected pure devotion. Some already had tears in their eyes, not from despair, but from the awareness that they were standing before something far greater than any trial they had ever faced. Mary was calling them to a spiritual battle, a fight that would not be visible to the naked eye, but would be deeply felt in their lives, in their families, and in their hearts. Mary emphasized that this battle would not be won through physical strength, but through unshakable faith, constant prayer, and a profound communion with the divine. Only through spirituality and a connection with God could they face what was coming. Then, as if to ensure that everyone present fully grasped the gravity of her warning, she paused. The silence was absolute. The weight of her words still lingered in the air. Mary looked at each of them as though she could see directly into their souls, perceiving their doubts, fears, and hopes. "You must prepare," she repeated, her voice soft but filled with authority. "And this is not just any preparation. You must connect with God every single day. You must seek refuge in the most powerful prayers, the ones that reach directly to heaven. You must strengthen your hearts and your souls, because what is coming, my children, will test every fiber of your faith." The Virgin Mary's words reverberated through the sacred space. What lay ahead would not be easy, but neither would it be impossible for those who held fast to their faith. Amid the tension, she offered a glimmer of hope. "You are not alone. My protection is with you. But for it to shield you, you must act. You must remain in communion with the divine. Your faith will be the shield that protects you from the darkness about to descend." Mary's final words that night echoed as a solemn reminder. The destiny of many rests in your hands, and the future, though uncertain, can be faced with faith. Only through faith will you overcome what lies ahead. The faithful, still kneeling, felt a newfound strength. Mary's message was not just a warning of danger, it was a call to spiritual unity. They understood that they were not alone on this journey. Now, with lighter hearts but fully aware of the seriousness of the mission ahead, they realized what needed to be done. Those who were prepared could face the approaching storms with divine protection, prayer, and unwavering faith. And now you are being called to do the same. With the Virgin Mary's final words still resonating in their hearts, the sense of urgency was undeniable. "You must prepare," she had said. But what did this preparation truly mean? How could they prepare for something so vast, something that would affect not only the physical world but also the spiritual realm? How could they face a storm that could not be seen but was deeply felt within the soul? It was clear that the time to act had come. Mary had not appeared to deliver a vague warning. Her message was clear. You must prepare spiritually. And this meant far more than simply continuing with daily religious routines. It required a deeper commitment, a connection that went beyond the simple words of prayer. Mary made it clear that the power of prayer would be the shield against the trials to come. Prayer would unite hearts, minds, and souls, creating a spiritual fortress to protect those ready to face the storms. But it wouldn't be just any prayer. These would need to be powerful prayers, filled with genuine faith, the kind that could reach heaven and bring comfort and divine protection. "Pray without ceasing," Mary urged. "You cannot fight alone. What is coming cannot be faced with the weapons of this world." Here was the key. What Mary was revealing was an invisible battle, a spiritual war that demanded preparation, not just of the mind, but also of the soul. It was a war that surpassed human strength, a war that could only be won with unwavering faith and a profound connection with God. How could they prepare for something like this? First, they needed to develop the habit of daily prayer. Not a quick or mechanical prayer, but a moment of true spiritual connection. Each person had to set aside time to withdraw from the distractions of the world and devote themselves to their faith. Prayer would become the pillar of spiritual resilience, the fuel that would keep their faith alive even in the darkest moments. The Virgin Mary emphasized the importance of not praying alone. Pray together. Form communities of faith, because the unity of your souls in prayer will create an unbreakable spiritual fortress. This was not the time to face trials in isolation. Those who attempted to confront the challenges alone would be more vulnerable to the forces already moving in the shadows. Only through unity and solidarity will you withstand the darkness that is coming. Spiritual preparation began with the power of prayer, but extended much further. Mary warned of the need for each person to purify their hearts, to let go of resentments, unresolved pain, and any emotional burdens that could weaken the soul. What is coming will test not only your faith, she warned, but also the purity of your hearts. This battle, though invisible to the eye, would be deeply felt in their lives, families, and hearts. Mary stressed that this fight could not be won with physical strength, but with unwavering faith, constant prayer, and deep communion with the divine. "You need a pure heart, free of grudges and wounds," she said, "so that the divine light can dwell within you." This would not be an easy process. Spiritual purification required total surrender to faith and trust in God. Each person would need to examine themselves deeply to identify and remove the barriers keeping them from a true connection with the divine. Mary made it clear that there would be no room for doubt in the hearts of the faithful. Only those with firm faith and pure hearts would withstand the trials to come. "Gather your families in prayer," she insisted. "Protect your homes. Pray together. Pray for your loved ones, because when a family unites in prayer, it creates a protective shield that the forces of darkness cannot penetrate." But her message didn't end there. Mary also spoke about the importance of acts of charity. "Prayer," she explained, "will not be enough without action. Faith without works is dead." Those who were spiritually prepared must also extend a hand to those in need, the poor, the sick, and the most vulnerable to the trials ahead. "Charity strengthens the soul," Mary said. "It is through compassion and love for your neighbor that you will find the strength to endure. Every act of charity, every gesture of love will become a defense for your soul against the temptations that will arise. People would be called to help their neighbors, care for those losing hope, and strengthen community bonds. Only through unity would it be possible to navigate the difficult times about to unfold." Mary did not speak solely about spiritual preparation. She also emphasized the importance of being physically prepared. "Store food," she urged. "Prepare your homes for times of scarcity and be ready for the days when society will face economic and social challenges. The storm that is coming will affect every aspect of your lives," Mary said. "You must be ready to sustain your families and communities even when resources are scarce." This was a call for complete preparation, spiritual, emotional, and physical. Mary made it clear there would not be another opportunity like this to prepare. "The spiritual and physical storm is approaching," she warned, "and those who are not ready may be swept away by it." But she also offered hope. "Those who heed my call and follow my guidance will find protection. They will know how to endure. In the end, they will emerge purified, strengthened, and united in their faith." Spiritual preparation required more than words. It demanded a complete transformation of heart and soul. "I will be with you," Mary promised. Her words echoed in the hearts of the faithful as a constant reminder of what was coming. No one could face these challenging times alone. "Gather in prayer," Mary urged. "Do not let pride, resentment, or indifference divide you. This is the time to tear down those barriers and build bridges. Together, you will be unbreakable." For those who felt alone, who believed their faith was an individual journey, Mary offered a different perspective. The strength of the community will be vital. She spoke directly about how the coming times would test not only individuals, but also society as a whole. Conflicts, divisions, and tensions would arise, and people would be tempted to turn against one another. "Fear will be a silent enemy capable of sowing distrust and hatred," Mary warned. "But this will be a trap laid by the invisible forces already at work in the world. The only way to resist would be by maintaining unshakable unity and protecting one another. Solidarity would be the key to overcoming these times. Do not ignore the needs of your neighbors, friends, or even strangers," Mary implored. "Those who have faith must be a source of support for those who are losing hope. You must be a light for those in darkness. Every act of kindness, every gesture of help will be a way to strengthen yourselves and others." Charity will be your greatest weapon, Mary insisted. The love you show one another will create an invisible shield of protection against the forces that will try to destroy your communities. Her words resounded like a clear command. Unity, solidarity, and faith would be the most powerful tools against the storms to come. Mutual aid needed to begin immediately. Those with more resources, more time, or greater physical strength were called to volunteer to help those facing greater struggles. This would be the true spirit of preparation. To emphasize this point, Mary reminded them that, during the trials ahead, many would lose their faith. They would look at the chaos around them and ask, "Where is God?" In those moments, those who were spiritually fortified needed to be beacons of hope, not just with comforting words, but with concrete acts of support. "You will be the instruments of the divine in this world," said Mary. "Through your acts of compassion, people will believe again. It will be your gestures of love that show them God has never abandoned them." It was an immense responsibility, but Mary assured them that those who chose this path of love and solidarity would not be alone. She would stand beside each one, guiding and strengthening their hearts. Spiritual preparation was not just an individual journey, but also a shared one. Each person was called to live their faith not only through prayer, but also through charity, compassion, and unity with others. The more you unite, the stronger your spiritual shield will be against the challenges to come, Mary assured. Only in unity can you face the storm. She made one final request. Begin your preparation today, but do it together. Gather in prayer, help one another, because what is coming cannot be faced alone. It was a direct call to those who believed they could endure in isolation. No one would prevail alone, and Mary was there to ensure that everyone understood this. "Unity will be the greatest miracle of all," Mary said, her eyes shining with a gentle light. "Only when you understand this will you truly be ready for what is to come." The faithful felt her words as a renewal of hope. Yes, the times would be difficult, but united, they could face anything. Collective faith, communal prayer, and solidarity would be their greatest weapons. And with Mary by their side, they knew that no matter what happened, they would have the strength to overcome any adversity. Despite the weight of the Virgin Mary's warnings, there was one essential truth she strove to convey: hope must never be abandoned. No matter how strong the storm or how dark the horizon may seem, there will always be a light guiding those who have faith and trust in the divine, Mary promised. That light, she assured, would never fade for those who chose to remain steadfast in their prayers and their faith. "Even in the darkest moments," Mary said, "there will be an invisible strength beside you. I will be with you, and God will never abandon his children." Her words were a balm for the souls of those present, who were already beginning to feel the weight of the trials ahead. It was as if Mary was giving each of them the certainty that, no matter how intense the challenges, they would never be alone. A divine hand would guide, protect, and most importantly, offer hope. "The difficulties will not be the end," Mary explained. "They will be a process of purification. Each challenge, each obstacle, each trial will come as a way to strengthen those who keep their faith. It will be like fire purifying gold. The souls that remain faithful will emerge stronger, purer, and closer to God." "These trials are not a punishment," Mary continued, her voice gentle but firm. "They are an opportunity to grow spiritually, to connect more deeply with God and with one another." This was the crux of her message. The difficulties to come would be a form of transformation. Those who chose to see the challenges as an opportunity to draw closer to the divine, to strengthen their faith, would emerge from the tribulations renewed and purified. The faithful listened attentively, many with tears in their eyes. What Mary was offering was more than a warning. It was a promise that despite the adversities, there would be a greater purpose behind everything that happened. "You do not need to face this with fear," Mary said. "Fear is the weapon that darkness will use against you, but faith, your trust in God, will be the shield that protects you." Fear would only have power over those who allowed it to dominate them. For those who chose faith, fear would have no place in their hearts. Mary promised that faith would bring a profound calm, even in the midst of the most intense storm. "You may feel the chaos around you," she said, "but within you there will be peace, because you will be connected to the divine." She also spoke of the signs to come. "Do not see the signs of destruction as an end," Mary warned. "These signs will be the prelude to a new beginning." Every storm, every trial would act as a spiritual cleansing, removing impurities and making way for something new, something stronger. Mexico and the world would emerge from those difficult times, more resilient, more united, and with a renewed faith. Mary reminded everyone that the signs of transformation would not only be found in great catastrophes. It wouldn't just be through earthquakes or storms that these changes would manifest, but also in subtle transformations within the hearts of people. "Many will begin to feel an inner restlessness," she said, "a search for something deeper, a desire to reconnect with the spiritual. These will be the first signs of the great purification that is to come." "Pay attention to the small signs," Mary continued. "Notice the changes in behavior, in the hearts that begin to transform. This will mark the beginning of the true spiritual transformation that is about to take place. The hearts of those steadfast in their faith would begin to shine, illuminating others in the darkness. Hope, then, would be Mary's greatest gift. No matter how dark the times may seem, always remember that the light will never be extinguished, Mary said. She instructed the faithful to cling to that hope as if it were the last flame in the midst of darkness, for that hope would be their guide. By doing so, they would not only save themselves, but also help save many others lost in the tribulations. "You will be the light in the darkness," Mary said. "Each of you has the power to guide those who have lost their way. Your faith, your hope, and your love for others will be the beacon many will follow." It was a mission she entrusted to them, a divine responsibility that could not be underestimated. For those who chose to walk this path, Mary promised protection and guidance. What is coming will be great, it will be difficult, but it will also be necessary. The faithful understood that by preparing spiritually and uniting in solidarity, they would not only survive the storm, but emerge from it stronger, more united and more enlightened. Faith will be your greatest shield, and hope will be your guiding light. With a gentle yet resolute smile, Mary reminded them, "You are not alone. My protection will be with you every step of the way." These words brought comfort to hearts once heavy with worry. Now they felt a renewed sense of lightness, a certainty that despite everything, they would be able to face what was to come. At the conclusion of her message, the Virgin Mary offered one final clear directive. It is time to act. The words she had spoken were not mere warnings or abstract spiritual theories. They were an urgent call, a direct plea for everyone to begin their preparation immediately. "There is no more time to waste," Mary said. "The storm is already forming on the horizon, and those who ignore its signs will be in danger. The time to act is now," she declared, with a voice that was gentle yet filled with maternal firmness. "You must prepare yourselves spiritually, physically, and emotionally, but you cannot do it alone." While individual faith was essential, it would not be enough. Mary reiterated the importance of unity, solidarity, and collective strength. The spiritual battle ahead will not be won by one heart alone, but by a community united and driven by faith. What did it mean in practice to act now? Mary gave clear instructions on how each person could prepare. Prayer. Prayer will be your greatest shield against the invisible forces already at work, Mary said. It wasn't enough to pray only in moments of desperation. It was necessary to establish a habit of daily, deep, and sincere prayer. Prayer must become a daily commitment, Mary explained, a sacred moment that connects you with God and strengthens your spirit. Pray in your homes, pray with your families, she advised. Every time you gather in prayer, you create a circle of protection around you. Prayer, she explained, was not just a request for help, but a way to shield oneself from negative energies that would try to destabilize faith and trust in God. Seek powerful prayers, those passed down through generations, she said. Prayers that touch directly the heart of God. Mary promised that words of faith carry immense power and that those who remained faithful in their prayers would find peace, even amid chaos. Practical preparation. Beyond prayer, Mary emphasized the need to be physically prepared. You must be prepared, she said, not just spiritually, but also physically. Mary knew that the challenges ahead would not only be spiritual but also material. She warned of times of scarcity and economic difficulties that would affect Mexico. Store food, she urged. Secure your homes and prepare to sustain your families and communities even when resources are scarce. It was a call for complete preparation, spiritual, emotional, and practical. The storm is approaching, she warned, and those who are not ready may be swept away by it. But for those who heeded her call and followed her guidance, there would be protection. They would endure, and in the end, they would emerge strengthened and renewed. You are not alone, Mary repeated. I will be with you. Many could be caught off guard if they did not start preparing now. Store food, prepare your homes, Mary cautioned. What is coming will not be just a spiritual battle, but a crisis that will affect every aspect of life. Political and economic pressures are already moving in the shadows, Mary said, and people must be ready to resist these tensions. The consequences of the actions of the powerful nation Mary had mentioned earlier would not be felt immediately, but would gradually manifest, impacting everyone. You must be ready, Mary repeated. Only those prepared both spiritually and physically will face what is coming without losing their faith. She also spoke about the importance of sharing with those who are most vulnerable. Charity, she reminded, is a way to strengthen faith and guard the heart against despair. Help the poor, care for the sick, welcome the hopeless. Only through compassion and mutual assistance can you endure the trials ahead. Then Mary revealed the most critical point of her message. Time is short, she said, looking tenderly at the faithful. The forces are already in motion. What is about to happen cannot be stopped, but you can be prepared. There was urgency in her voice, a final call for people not to ignore the warning. This was not a time for doubt or hesitation. Everyone needed to act now, before it was too late. She also pointed out that the signs were already all around them. Those who pay attention will see that the changes have already begun to manifest, she explained. Restless hearts, rising tensions, feelings of despair spreading, these are all part of the prelude to the trials to come. But for those who kept their eyes open, signs of the divine would also be present. Small miracles, moments of light and hope, will emerge amidst the trials, Mary said. Look for the signs in the sky and on the earth, she insisted. The great changes to come will not only bring disasters but also internal and spiritual transformations. The world around you will begin to speak, both in the visible and the invisible. It was a warning for everyone to stay vigilant, with hearts prepared to recognize the moments when God would intervene, even in the most challenging situations. At the conclusion of her message, Mary made one last appeal to faith. Do not lose hope, she said. Even in the darkest hours, God's light will continue to shine. Her voice was soft, but carried a strength that seemed to penetrate directly into the souls of those present. You are not alone and never will be. I will be by each of your sides, guiding and protecting you through the storm. Once again, she asked each person there to commit to faith and action. Put your faith into practice, Mary insisted. Pray, help, love. Only then will you withstand the darkness that is about to descend upon the world. With a final gesture of blessing, Mary reminded them that what was to come was not the end, but a new beginning, a time of purification, renewal, and spiritual strengthening. You hold the flame of faith, and you have been chosen to carry it, she said. Now it is in your hands to keep this light burning. There is no more time to waste. This is your last chance. What you do next will define your destiny. Mary exhorted them to unite in prayer, act in solidarity, and be ready to face the trials with hearts firm in faith. The time to act is now, she concluded. Mary's warning made it clear that the time for doubts and hesitation was over. The moment to act is now, she said, with a firmness that resonated in the hearts of the faithful. Her message was not just a call to prayer, but an invitation to comprehensive preparation, spiritual, emotional, and practical. Daily prayer had to become a non-negotiable commitment, a practice that would strengthen the soul and connect each believer to the divine. However, Mary emphasized that prayer alone would not be enough. Charity, community unity, and mutual support would be fundamental to overcoming the challenges ahead. Help the poor, care for the sick, welcome the hopeless, she repeated. These acts of compassion would be more than simple gestures of kindness. They would be concrete ways to confront the darkness that was approaching. By sharing with the most vulnerable, the faithful would not only protect their own souls, but also become instruments of the divine, bringing light to those who were lost. Unity, Mary declared, will be the greatest miracle, and only together can you overcome the tribulations. The signs of what was to come were already present, though many had yet to recognize them. Mary invited the faithful to observe the sky and the earth, as both the visible and the invisible would begin to speak. Earthquakes, storms, and natural disasters would be accompanied by a subtler transformation in people's hearts. Some would feel an internal restlessness, a search for something deeper, while others would grapple with feelings of despair. These are the signs of the prelude to the trials, Mary said, but she also pointed to small miracles, moments of light and hope that would arise amidst the difficulties. These signs must not be ignored, she emphasized, for they will be evidence that God has not abandoned his children. On the contrary, he is present, guiding and preparing hearts for a spiritual rebirth. Mary explained that each trial would be an opportunity for purification, like fire refining gold. Those who chose to see the challenges as opportunities for spiritual growth would emerge stronger, more illuminated, and closer to God. Her message was also a call to unshakable faith and the rejection of fear. Fear is the weapon of darkness, she warned. It would only have power over those who allowed it to dominate them, but for those who chose faith, fear would find no place in their hearts. Within you, there will be peace, even when chaos surrounds you, Mary assured, reaffirming that God would never abandon his children. She reminded them that the difficulties ahead would not mark the end, but a new beginning. The light will never go out, she said, and for those who remained steadfast, that light would guide their every step through the storm. However, Mary insisted that this path could not be faced in isolation. Strength would come from solidarity, from the union of souls in prayer, and from action within the community. This is your responsibility now, Mary reminded them. Keep the flame of faith burning to illuminate the path for those still lost. Even in the darkest hours, the rosary will be your light and shield. During the days of darkness, remain in your homes and pray the rosary fervently. Let your prayers be constant, for continuous supplication to heaven will bring blessings and protection for you and your loved ones. Use blessed candles as you pray, for their flame will be a visible sign of Christ's presence among us. Do not only recite the rosary's prayers, but also meditate deeply on its mysteries. When reflecting on the Annunciation, ponder the obedience and humility that brought salvation. When meditating on Christ's passion, remember the immense love and sacrifice he made for each one of us. When darkness seems overwhelming, remember that the light of Christ is invincible. He is the Good Shepherd who never abandons his sheep. Pray with confidence, knowing that your prayers will be heard and answered. Trust in Jesus' promise, "I am with you always, to the end of the age." I encourage you to form prayer groups, even virtually. Prayer holds special power. When 2 or 3 gather in Jesus' name, he is in their midst. Your collective prayers will be a powerful cry to heaven, capable of moving mountains and transforming hearts. In addition to prayer, it is important to practice acts of charity and compassion toward those in darkness, offering them comfort and words of hope. Dear children, know that my presence is always with you, guiding and protecting each of you. My intercession before God and Jesus is constant. In his infinite mercy, he responds to his mother's prayers when we pray with faith. This period of trial will be followed by a powerful manifestation of maternal love and divine blessings. Continue to pray the Holy Rosary with sincerity. God's mercy is infinite, and the victory of light over darkness is assured. With faith and courage, we will witness the triumph of God's love in our lives. The approaching darkness may be a severe trial, but it is also an opportunity to draw closer to God and strengthen our faith. The Holy Rosary is the key to finding protection and comfort amidst the impending chaos. This prayer is a powerful weapon against evil and a source of incomparable grace and peace. Each Hail Mary we recite is like a ray of light piercing the darkness, and every mystery meditated upon is a spiritual step closer to the heart of Jesus. There are countless testimonies of graces received through this devotion, and we too will experience its powerful intercession during the dark days ahead. I encourage you to remain in your homes and pray the Rosary with even greater fervor and devotion. Each bead that passes through your fingers is a prayer that ascends to heaven, invoking God's mercy and my intercession. The light of the blessed candles you light while praying in your homes will drive away the darkness. Do not simply recite the prayers. Meditate deeply on the mysteries you contemplate. In the joyful mysteries, celebrate the incarnation of the Son of God. In the sorrowful mysteries, reflect on Christ's supreme sacrifice for us. And in the glorious mysteries, celebrate the victory of the resurrection and heavenly glory. Pray the Rosary as a family, united in prayer, strengthening bonds, and bringing peace to your homes. Teach your children to pray. Let their innocent voices rise to heaven in supplication and praise. Family prayer is a spiritual fortress that no evil force can destroy. Remember the words of Jesus, "Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in their midst." Participate in the Holy Mass and receive the Eucharist frequently, if possible. The real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist is the source and summit of Christian life, where we find the strength to face any adversity. If you cannot physically attend Mass, join spiritually by making spiritual communions and offering your prayers in union with the Eucharistic celebration. Also, practice acts of charity and compassion toward those in darkness. True faith is manifested through love for your neighbor. Do not fear the darkness, no matter how overwhelming it may seem, for the light of Christ is more powerful than any darkness. Trust in my constant intercession as a mother, always by your side, presenting your needs to my son Jesus, who never fails to hear the prayers of his children, especially when they are made with a sincere and contrite heart. Beloved children, this is a time of greatness despite the trials. The darkness will pass, and the light of Christ will shine even more brightly. Persevere in deep faith, hope, and love. Those who remain faithful and steadfast in their faith will witness the glory of God powerfully manifest in their lives. With all my maternal love and blessings, I urge you to continue praying the Holy Rosary. With faith and courage, we will witness the triumph of God's love in our lives. Thank you so much to everyone who has made it to the end. You are incredible. Now leave us a comment saying, "I am faithful," to share your commitment with us. Together, let us spread positivity and faith. Until next time, and may peace be with all of you. Jesus assures us that his presence will never leave us, even in the most difficult moments. This promise must serve as a pillar of strength in our lives, reminding us that we are never alone in facing challenges. Amid uncertainty and darkness, we can rest assured that Jesus is by our side, guiding every step we take. This truth invites us to live with hope, knowing his love and protection are unshakable. Throughout history, this promise has been a source of comfort for millions of believers. From the apostles to the present day, the presence of Jesus has sustained those facing persecution, trials, and moments of doubt. It is a constant reminder that no matter how great the darkness, the light of Christ will prevail. His promise guarantees that we will never be forsaken. It is important to carry this promise in our hearts and share it with those around us. In a world where many feel lonely and abandoned, spreading the message that Jesus is always present can be an immense act of charity.